Hey everybody, thanks for joining SpringPath, the podcast. We have a great show lined up, lots to talk about, so let's get after it. All right everyone, thanks for joining us again for another episode of SpringPath, the podcast. I have a special guest tonight, hailing from my alma mater, CCSU. We have Catherine Thomas, who is joining us as the head or the chair of the nursing program. So our goal for today's episode is really to get a better understanding of what CCSU has to offer, but really hear some of the unique elements that Catherine brings to the table for the program. So Catherine, I'll open it up if you want to introduce yourself.
Thanks so much. I'm so happy to be here. I hope everyone finds this helpful. So my name is Dr. Catherine Thomas. I have been here at CCSU since 2012. It's been a great time here at CCSU. I've been a nurse since 1991. I have worked predominantly in the state of Connecticut as a nurse and came to teaching through my time as a nurse in acute care, predominantly in critical care, but so enjoyed working with all types of students at the bedside, helping them understand, the care that we delivered in that setting, that actually a dear colleague of mine said, you should think about teaching. And many years later, here I am. And CCSU, I really enjoy being part of a really great department. We're lucky where we see ourselves as a team, helping our students. I am elected as department chair. We do a department chair election. People hold this position for 3 years, and
okay,
really,
so you don't just assign yourself as leader.
No. So
that's good to know.
It's an elected position. I was very honored when my colleagues had asked me to consider, being the leader of the department and stepping forward. So really, the department chair. I'm the voice of the department. I'm the voice of the department on behalf of the faculty. I'm the voice of the department on behalf of the students, both prospective as well as current and alumni. I'm also occasionally the voice of administration to those two parts as well, too, to kind of understand that sometimes changes, are driven or things that need to happen are sometimes driven by external stakeholders as well as internal stakeholders at CCSU. And really, I enjoy being in this role. I think had you asked me when I was a bedside nurse that I would end up here, I probably would have said no. But that's the beauty of nursing, is that when I graduated in 1991, really my original career goal was to be an ICU critical care educator. And just through experiences and working with different colleagues and, kind of evolving, here I am the chair of a very dynamic department, made up of team members. We really see ourselves as a team. We have 9 full-time faculty. We have a full-time staff person who is our clinical placement and laboratory learning coordinator. And we have a full-time secretary, she does so much more. And we're really a great team. I'm very lucky to have them here. And we also have a wonderful group of clinical adjunct faculty that without them, we could not offer the students such a high quality program.
That's fantastic. That sounds amazing. So you have a lot of resources to help students and to guide them. So I guess the key, as you know, we had some students write in with some questions, but also I was just curious, just based on your experience, when a student's looking at first deciding, hey, which school do I want to go to, that kind of general studies, and then looking at the nursing program, are there some things they should consider for CCSU versus other programs, something that might be a little different as far as that first selection process?
Yeah. So I think the choice of a school is so important. I can really tell the students watching this podcast, my daughter is a freshman in college, and really, so just literally as a parent lived that process. I have a junior in high school. So really, they're thinking about and kind of considering, where am I going to fit at a school? What school feels good to me? What environment am I going to be happy and thrive in? As well as whatever specialty or degree pathway that they want to take is really looking at, what does that offer? What connections do I feel? What do they offer that is meaningful to me? Because without that sense of meaningful connection, that sense of comfort and that sense of feeling like that's someplace you could belong, I think that's so important. And I think at CCSU, what I really love about this is I say sometimes is we're big, but we're small. I love our size. I think for students who really, may not feel like a really large university is a good fit for them, and it is for some students. I feel like we really have that ability to know every student here, to really be able to we're large enough to really give students opportunities and chances to kind of spread their wings and fly and learn and push themselves outside of their comfort zone, which I think is part of the college process, but at the same time do it where it's a familiar environment. You can walk across our campus in probably about a half an hour. I'm not a fast walker. So there's lots to see and do, and there's lots of activities, but you don't have to take a bus to get across our campus. And for some students, that's exciting and they want to do that. But again, it's really where students want to be and how they want to fit. And I think for nursing, there's lots of options. We all are aware of that. I'm just happy and thrilled anytime somebody's considering being a nurse. I like every student that looks at CCSU to come here, sure. But it's also so important for students to find the fit. You need to find some place where you feel like you're going to be comfortable and thrive, because nursing programs, no matter where you go, it's a very, it's a demanding curriculum. There's a lot to learn in whatever structure or format that program delivers, because we have a very important job. What nurses do matter. So, really each program is going to challenge a student, but where do you want to be challenged? Where are students going to feel comfortable and wanting to do that?
Yes, 100%. And I know we did have the chance to interview the general admissions team, just the admissions counselors, on exactly that, selecting the campus size, feeling comfortable. And then I guess what I'll do now is I'll reverse the question, because now when students have their trajectory, they say, hey, CCSU is for me. I love the campus. I love the atmosphere. I definitely want to go into the nursing program. What are some of the things that you look for in an applicant for this particular program? Because I know you and I have talked offline, you have some unique qualities, and we're going to get into how you help the students through the program, which I think is amazing. But some of the things on the front end, like, what do you look for?
So the first step for really people to understand about nursing and the nursing programs is that nursing is a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree. So we are a science-based program. The beauty and the challenge of nursing is we are actually a science-based health professional, but we also have a strong grounding in humanistic connections and needs. So we actually describe ourselves as an art and a science. So, students really, when they're looking at CCSU as any nursing program, is really, we're going to ask students to come with a strong, solid science base. We're going to build on that scientific knowledge base, and then they're going to take it and bring all that content to life in the nursing program. So to become a pre-nursing student and to, again, qualify as a nursing major, we want students to come in with a core set of math skills to enter into the sciences, because sciences, especially chemistry, there is some math skill to be had there in order to be able to, again, look at results and experiments. In addition, when students think they're kind of done with that, they start the nursing classes. We're like, oh, now there's medication calculation and dosage calculation. So again, having some of that algebra foundation allows them to succeed. We support them. There's modules they learn, but without a math foundation, students will struggle or, unfortunately be at the risk of not being successful in learning how to do that task, because that's a non-negotiable task. Nurses have to be able to do dosage calculation correctly, safely, and within a reasonable amount of time to deliver medications to patients. We're also looking for students to be able to take some of the scientific concepts that they may have had exposure to in high school, but definitely will here. Students must complete a biology course and a general chemistry course before they start nursing classes. But in biology courses, I say sometimes when we have transfer students, I'm like, I'm very sorry, I cannot accept your botany course, because you're not going to be taking care of plants. You're going to be taking care of human beings. So we really need students to have a biology that covers and dives into cells, cell structure, cellular respiration, because that all then speaks to oxygenation and all homeostasis. All those things that they learn in those biology courses drive how we take care of human beings. So, that's so important. General chemistry, a lot of the things that they learn then drive what we can and can't do. When you start talking about acid-base balance, that drives sometimes how we treat a patient or how they respond to treatment. So really having that science-based, that, like I said, we build on, we have them take additional science courses as they then progress through the program.
Oh, okay. So that was going to be my next question. So let's say I'm senior in high school. I'm graduating. I've decided to come to CCSU, but I'm not as strong as I should be with those particular courses. Is in that first year or those first 2 or 3 semesters, are there recommendations that you would give to a student to kind of beef up that area and be prepared to get into the program?
So we are incredibly lucky with the nursing department. We're part of the School of Educational and Professional Studies, and we call it SEPS. So we're very, very lucky. There's a SEPS advising center, and we have a dedicated nursing advisor. So they are a partner to us. I have a great relationship with the previous one who actually got promoted to assistant dean, and now there's a new person coming in, and we're working on building that team based with her. They meet with pre-nursing students, assess what they've completed in high school, and look at, if they didn't get the math SAT score minimum required for general chemistry, the chemistry department sets that, they can take a math placement test. If they don't score enough high in a math placement test, there's options over that summer prior to that start of that traditional freshman year where they can actually take a math course to build up those skills to set them up for success in general chemistry. If a student for some reason is not successful in that first fall semester in either the biology or the chemistry, general chemistry, they can take that course again. We do not fault students for needing to repeat a course. We encourage them all along. I know the SEPS advisor says, hey, how are you doing midterm? There's a learning center, there's tutors, take advantage of those, meet with your professor. So there's, people again along the way supporting them. If they have to repeat a course, unfortunately, it does mean they wait to do that, and it will back up their timeline a little bit. But we don't say to a student, oh gosh, you've got to get through in 4 years. You can only try a course once. Sometimes some students and people in life stumble and you get back up and you try again. So I had a student the other day call me and ask, well, I had to withdraw from a course, an adult student who wants to transfer. And she said, I'm going to have to withdraw from this course. Do you count withdrawals against you for the rankings and admission? I said, no. She goes, oh, well, I know other schools do. And I said, oh, that's not what we do. We believe in, we want people, if people want to be a nurse badly enough and can apply themselves and meet our requirements, our door is open to you. We're not looking at trying to only take the top students. We want everyone that wants to be a nurse that can, again, complete these courses and apply to our program. We have a lot of first generation students in our program. We're very proud of that. We have older adults returning that maybe didn't have sciences for many years and need some time to, again, be able to meet those minimum grade requirements for chemistry. So we require C+ in the general bio, and we require C+ in general chemistry. It doesn't matter if you don't get it on your first try here. We are, again, willing to, there's support and resources available while they're taking the courses, but they can certainly take them again.
I know that there are programs at other institutions that are shorter programs that might get students into the nursing field. Can you talk about that a little bit, or why those might be different?
So all baccalaureate degrees for the most part are 4 years. An accelerated program, which a lot of people get confused by, and understandable, we have a lot of pathways into nursing and it's fabulous, but at times people go, I don't know which one's for me. So the shorter programs are an associate degree program. Okay. Those are based in the community college system. The nurses graduate with an associate degree. Different than an LPN program. That's much shorter, but again, where nurses can work. I always say to everybody, every nurse brings something to the table, whether they're an LPN, an associate degree, we say ADN, or a BSN, or even advanced practice nurses. Every nurse brings something to the table, but an associate degree program is shorter. However, there are some limitations to the job roles that associate degree nurses can step forward into or achieve over time. Really, there is a 4-year BSN pathway. It's just that some BSN programs put all of their nursing classes in 2 years. We are a 3-year model, and there's a few around the state and in New England, but we feel it works really well because, again, learning how to be a nurse is not simple. It takes some time, and we really feel like giving students the time and being able to come into the lab and come in and do simulation and have clinical rotations that are not stacked on top of each other. When you have that 2-year model, they're doing multiple days of clinicals in multiple settings, and then trying to figure out what's truly the difference between how a maternity nurse works and functions is incredibly different than a home care nurse, which is incredibly different than an ICU nurse.
It's interesting when you talk about that. So basically, to your point, this is a role where if you do partake in this, you graduate from the program, you're going to meet people from all walks of life. It's so much more fulfilling. I know in my role, I meet so many people, and just to hear their backgrounds and talking to you and see how it just comes from you, the passion and what you're doing. And you get to meet people like that from, like you said, different cultures, different family sizes. So it's a great experience.
Oh, it's amazing. I tell the students, people are walking history books, and they're books and life experience, and it's up to the student to open that book and listen and experience it. And the more that students are open to really learning the lessons and connecting with patients and understanding that it's a privilege to be, part of a patient's experience and part of a patient's life. Nurses are there at the very first breath that patients take, and we're there at the very last. And there's a whole span in between, and it's really, it's an honor and a privilege to be a nurse, but it's also an honor and a privilege to be nursing faculty. And it's an honor and a privilege to be a nursing student. What nurses do, I'm going to cry. What nurses do matter. What nurses do matter. I feel like I'm so grateful for having touched patients' lives. And I'm so grateful for all the lives that have touched mine and taught me life lessons. And I feel like the students teach me lessons, and I'm not here just to teach them lessons, but they're here to remind me of why I do what I do. And I love being a nurse, and I love being a nursing faculty, and I want the best for every student. And sometimes that is by challenging them and asking them to do more, or sometimes reminding them that they need to step up and meet their responsibilities. But it really is, it's a fabulous profession with a lot of possibilities and a lot of responsibilities. So I hope students know that when they're looking wherever they go to nursing school. I wish them all the best, and I thank them for watching and listening to me.
That's fantastic, and I see the passion coming through. It's okay, you can cry. If my kids wanted to go into the nursing program, I would send them to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do.
Catherine, thank you so much for everything. I thought this was extremely informative. I know it'll help so many students that, it was kind of blurry or a gray area and they didn't know where to start or to begin to do the research. And I think you helped give a ton of information, not only on how you can decide if this is something you want to do as a profession or go into the program, but really if it's going to be fulfilling for you in the way that you connect with people and be a part of something that's more of a family. So thank you very much. And what I'll do is just on an end note, how would people get in touch with you or your faculty? What's the easiest way to call in or email to ask questions? Is your information on the CCSU site?
The best, actually, if they can, there's a nursing generic email, because that way more than one person uses it. So it's nursingmail1@ccsu.edu. I would encourage them to look at our web pages. We have a ton of information on the pre-nursing pathway, on the transfer pathway, on the application process, as well as lots of pictures and information about our simulation and our labs. They should take a look at the nursing handbook, because again, that's going to be kind of a lot of our expectations are laid out there for students. So it's again another great way to get to know the program that they're looking at. And so just really explore our web pages. There's a ton of information there. And I would again encourage them to look at the undergraduate open houses. That's really the best way. I'll answer a student's question by email, but coming in and being able to ask that of a current student, or being able to ask the question and ask another question immediately, being able to engage in that dialogue. We've done it for years. We believe the undergraduate open house is so helpful to students, because there are a lot of questions and a lot to learn about, what all this is about. And so I would encourage them. That's probably the best way to get information.
Fantastic.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
Right. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Take care.